Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Llama and today I wanted to talk to you about making Arcanite bars. But before we dive in, here's what you're going to need to follow along with the video. The only requirements to this method are an alchemist of 275 skill and either a moderate amount of gold or a character with mining. However, there are a few things that are preferred, and those are if that alchemist has transmutation master, or if your mining character also could do with having flying. Now, with the two required ingredients for performing the transmute of Arcanite bars, one of them is in very short supply, and as a result it is excellent if you have both of the recommendations of the gold in order to be able to purchase the items when they are on the auction house and at a reasonable price, as well as having a character with mining and preferably flying so you can get about easy to acquire the items for yourself. So to start with, let's look at what we're going to be after in this farm. First off, we're going to be after getting thorium ore to smelt into bars. Now, this is very easily acquired and frankly it isn't worth making the effort of getting as it's so cheap. However, the mining of thorium ore nodes is the only reliable method of getting the rare second ingredient that we need for the transmutation of Arcanite bars. That ingredient is the Arcane Crystal. Now, Arcane Crystals can only really be acquired from thorium nodes. There is a satchel of gems that you can get from Blackwing Lair, but quite frankly it's very unreliable that you're even going to get any crystals, as it's RNG as to what is inside the bag, and also it takes a long time to clear Blackwing Lair and you can only get one per character per week, so it's just not viable. If you're going to be going and getting these crystals for yourself, it is going to be from thorium veins. So since it is thorium veins that we're after to be mining in order to acquire both of these ingredients, there is a few zones that you can go to acquire thorium nodes. However, my personal favourite is Winterspring. I find that this is a beautiful area for getting yourself these nodes, as the number of nodes is quite high. They have a reasonable density, but they're also, the best of all, laid out in a very nice circular pattern. You are pretty much staying on course the whole time and just doing laps of the zone, acquiring the nodes as and when you see them. You can set up a route for Winterspring to acquire thorium nodes if you'd like, but you are going to have to make quite a few taboo regions, which I know a lot of people don't like to do when they're using routes, and that is because of the fact that there is a lot of caves in Winterspring, and they pretty much lie on the south side of the zone, like towards the southwest of the zone, so just be aware of that when you are preparing your route for the acquisition of these nodes. Now, these crystals are very rare from the thorium nodes, and given that you only require one thorium bar and one crystal per Arcanite bar that you wish to make, and there is no real amount to aim for here, you simply want to go and get as many arcane crystals as you would like for the number of Arcanite bars that you want to make. Now, as to recommendations as to how many to have at any given time, I'll put some of those up later on for you in the video, but just bear it in mind. Now, why are we making these Arcanite bars? Well, at the time of recording, they sell for 875 gold and 73 silver per bar on average across all EU realms, and by comparison, the Arcane Crystal only sells for 486 gold, 95 silver, and to acquire a thorium bar is incredibly easy, and even if you were to purchase them, they only go at 10 gold and 78 silver on average, meaning that on average, if you were to purchase these items and create your bar, there is a 378 gold exactly profit margin on average across EU realms. Now, that profit margin doesn't take into account the potential for procs if you are using a transmute master. Now, I did list this as recommended, but it is so highly recommended it verges on being mandatory for this to make sense to do, and that is because every single proc that you can get is essentially a full value Arcanite bar added into your profits, and given that, like we discussed before, they are 875 gold and 73 silver each, every proc is just that much more of a profit margin. It's completely free. Now, any of you looking at your alchemists may notice that you don't actually have the capacity to make these Arcanite bars, and that is because you do have to purchase the recipe. It is not something that you learn from the trainer. That being said, however, the recipe is super easy to attain, purchased from a vendor in Tenaris at Gagatzen, and it costs just 5 gold. It has an unlimited supply, it is not bind on pickup, and does not require any rep to acquire. So you simply take any character to Gagot Zen in Tanaris and purchase this item for 5 gold. You can even use a character that you are currently leveling and happens to be down in Tanaris. Or, by alternatively, a character that you leave parked outside of Zul'Farrak if you like to transmog farm there to build up your auction house. Now, for any of you with a high level character who are looking for an easy way to get to Tanaris in order to purchase this recipe, simply use your Dalaran Hearthstone, go to the portal room from the teleporter located in the centre of the city, and head to the portal to the Caverns of Time. Now if you take the portal to the Caverns of Time located just on the left as you enter into the portal section of the room, you simply then have to fly northwest from where you land after the loading screen, and you will find yourself in Gagot Zen. It takes no more than about a minute. Now once you have your Arcanite bars, you can look into the crafting of Legacy Transmog with them if you wish. However, the primary use of these items is for attaining Sulfurus, the Hand of Ragnaros, which is a legendary item that you can acquire from running the Molten Core. Now, as most people are either buying the completed crafted hammer to use to turn into the legendary hammer, or wanting these bars themselves to make that hammer, I don't personally see it as being that valuable to use these to craft into an item unless it's going to be that hammer. And when it comes to the profit to effort ratio that I like to establish for any given gold making method that I use, I just see it that the best profit to time spent and effort that you have to put in is definitely going to be in just making these bars and selling the bars as is. Now these bars aren't incredibly quick shifting, but they're not poor either, so I do like to keep quite a healthy reserve, and to that end I tend to keep about 50 of them at any one time on the auction house, which does sound like quite a lot when they're such a high-end item with such a high value. But that's because when these items sell, with them being pretty much just the one used to craft the hammer, they tend to sell in bulk, and it takes 50 of these bars to create that hammer. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please do like the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me them down below, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one.